Hello and welcome to another edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Yes, it is time for part 3 of this whole EPA thing. Stuff that we had talked about before, especially the old EPA talking about banning race cars that were actually built from production vehicles. Let's go back a little bit. If you haven't seen the 2 videos I've done on this before, I'll kind of give you a high-speed lowdown of what's going on with this deal. Basically, the EPA back in 2015, probably midsummer or something like that, they went in and snuck in a bill. A lot of folks have been building production version cars into race cars, turning them into race cars, I should say, and racing them for fun and whatnot. But this is a situation that the EPA was wanting to get rid of, and those folks that have done this basically called them non-road vehicles, which the EPA does not test. We're including heavy equipment, lawn tractors, you know what I'm talking about. They don't test any of those things, but they test every road vehicle on the planet. And this is where the situation with the Clean Air Act runs in, and anything that the Clean Air Act and the EPA have done to try to keep cars running as clean as they possibly can need to stay intact in these vehicles. So if you want to turn your local commuter into a race car and take all of that stuff off of your automobile, then it basically comes into effect with this new little bill that they snuck into the Clean Air Act, meaning that they could fine you up to $40,000 for every engine that you have that has been stripped down of all the emissions standards equipment. Now, basically what's been going on here as of late, the SEMA organization actually ran in and figured this thing out late in 2015, early 2016, sat down with the EPA to find out their intentions. That's when they laid down that this situation was going down. SEMA's been fighting this quite aggressively, and now looks like this traction has really started back into our favor to make these vehicles legal again and to make them to where they can actually come and take ththese vehicles. And it starts with this. There's a new bill or a new act going into effect that they're trying to push through Congress, and it's called the Recognizing the Protection of Motorsports Act. Now, this has been done by 5 U.S. representatives, including Patrick McHenry. He's a Republican from North Carolina. Henry Collier, who is actually a Democrat from Texas. Richard Hansen, who is a Republican from North Carolina. Bill Posey, a Republican from Florida. And Lee Zeldin, he's a Republican from New York. What they've done is they've tried to push through this particular act that's going to help out with this whole situation, which is going to protect these machines, change that law, and say that if you're going to build a production car into a full-blown race car, that it is totally legal and you can't be fined. There's still that little caveat where a lot of folks that have built full-on race cars out of production cars and have kept all the stuff to keep them road legal and are driving them on the streets, this law is not going to help those particular folks. But if you are building a race car out of a production car and racing it exclusively where it never sees road use, then this is what this bill is actually here to protect you. So I've got it up on the Facebook page, my Twitter account, my personal Facebook page, all this stuff. You can jump right over the Motor Cars Facebook page. Links right down in the show notes. It'll take you right over there. It's a very easy. You just sign up, you put your name and address and all that good jazz down, and send it off to say that you're in support of the RPM Act. Isn't that nice? That's a beautiful little play on this, as the acronym for the Recognizing the Protection of Motorsports is RPM. Pretty slick little piece of kit. So a lot of industry insiders, a lot of hot rodders, a lot of insider folks in the hot rod industry talking about manufacturers and whatnot, including SEMA, has really got this going. In fact, if you jump on to my Facebook page, you can scroll down a little bit and you'll find the video where they explain this deal, and it'll have you a link, take you right over to get this deal done. And it's actually under the SEMA group and their subsidiaries. So check it out over on the Facebook page, and please sign this deal. We need to keep the EPA from taking our race cars away from us. So hopefully this deal will come down. EPA has yet to come down and say their official stance on this because they are looking into the situation after it ruffled so many feathers, especially for the last petition I asked you to sign. Got 100,000 signatures in just the first 24 hours. So, and they're still talking about a midsummer release of just what exactly they're going to do with the Clean Air Act, and especially this new amendment that's inside of it going forward. So we'll keep you in tune till we hear any more. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Don't forget to like us over on the Facebook page. The link's down in the show notes. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time. Get the first dibs on the brand new shows as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again real soon.